The good thing about this assessment is after you've heard all of this, you feel free to go back and change it. Sometimes people, this is like a fish in water. You're being asked to figure out what your brain does really easily and automatically, and it can be so automatic to you that it's invisible. I'll give you an example. One of mine is focus, but it's so intrinsic to me that I thought every human being on the planet can make their brain concentrate. People would always say to me, how do you get so much done? And I'm like, well, you just put your mind to it and then you just do it, right? And I had no idea that it was a thing until I went to this retreat and had all these like weird things happening in terms of seeing colors and lights and sounds, et cetera. And I went to talk to the meditation teacher and he said, these are the products of great concentration. How long have you been meditating? I said, oh, since the 2 days we've been here. And he's like, you should go on a mountaintop. And I go, well, I got other things to do. I'm not interested in going to a mountaintop. So the fact that I had this talent was not even visible to myself until I thought about it. And I remember teaching myself to do this when I was a little kid. There was a test, it had 100 questions, and I'm a big worrier, and I was worrying, oh no, what if I don't have time to finish all these questions? What if I don't know the answer to all these questions? And I remember saying to myself, no, take your mind, like a flashlight, just do the one. When I did that one, just do the next one, just do the next. I remember training myself to do that, right? So part of what you want to do in reflection on this later is to say, do I remember when I was a little kid doing this? If it was something you developed later, it's probably a skill, not a talent. And here's why. Because when we're born, our brain is all potentiality. It's not wired. That's why babies lie there. Through the relationships a child has and the experiences in the world and in teachers and family and all the rest of what happens with us, our brain cells start to fire, and the brain cells that fire together wire together. So what that means is every time it fires in a particular sequence, it's more likely to fire that sequence again next time, and again and again and again. So what we're looking for are those deep neural pathways you've been growing your whole life. And as a result of that, they run faster, they run automatic, they run without trying. Another way to think about talents is that these are things you can't help but do. So one of the ones that Finn has, I saw from the day that we had adopted them. They have making order, as you might guess from the orderliness with which I get help from Finn, and you experience that, right? And so everything was always lined up. By the time there were 10, all the furniture in the room was on kitchen towels because I would come in and it had been rearranged in the middle of the night, right? That's making order. No one taught Finn to do that. No one said to Finn, you should do that. They just started doing it. And the more they did it, the more they did it. And we all have those. And so this is a reflection on what are those things for you. And the reason why they're different than skills is because when we get to puberty, the brain sheds by half the potentiality that is not wired. So that means it's harder after that. You can still learn and grow, but your brain is not plastic, but it's trying to tell us is we've becoming more and more specialized 1 in 33 million miracle. And yet none of us have been taught what that actually means for us individually. So this is a way of understanding your miraculousness, your greatness.